They've literally fantasized on the air about my death. So to be able to vote for Barack Obama and then that night to see the results, I gotta tell you, and I think everyone in this room would agree with me. And I stood here 4 years ago and told you that our fellow Americans will elect not only one of the most liberal members of the U.S. Senate, but an African American for president. I think there would have been some polite laughter as I left the stage. Who believed something like that could happen in the darkness of those times of George W. Bush? But it did happen, and it reminded me of the power of goodness that's really at the core of all human beings. I never thought I'd see the Berlin Wall come down, did you? I never thought we'd see Nelson Mandela out of prison, let alone the President of South Africa. Who could have predicted that? It's clear that the crazy, impossible things can happen when you least expect them to happen. And I believe we're in one of those critical moments in history where we have the ability to turn things around. But the fight in front of us, it isn't going to be easy. The richest 1% in this country have more financial wealth than the bottom 95% combined. I mean, my friends, when anthropologists dig us up 400 or 500 years from now, they're not going to understand that. Because they're going to go, look, they lived in a democracy. The other 99% held all the power because there was still that one person, one vote thing. No matter how much money the wealthy had, they still had only one vote. And there's more of us than there are of them. There's more of us than there are of them. So what's stopping us? Only us. It's only us. Because this great country, this great democracy, you'll see another scene in the film where I go to the National Archives where our founding documents are laid out. Because I keep hearing how this country, it's all about free enterprise, free market. Of course, it's all about free enterprise and free market until they need help. Yeah. Then they're the biggest socialists around. Yeah. They want welfare. They want the help. So I go and I'm reading these documents. And the documents say nothing about protecting big business or the banks. In fact, to paraphrase Thomas Jefferson, he said the only thing more scary than an invading army is a bank. Ben Franklin, Thomas Jefferson, John Adams, they did not trust people with money, and they should know they were people with money. Think about that. These wealthy landowners who benefited from the British system, who did well under the king, knew that there was something fundamentally, inherently wrong. When you have a pie on the table, and you have 10 people at the table, and there's 10 slices of the pie, and one guy at the table grabs 9 of those slices and leaves the last slice for the other 9 people, that's not called democracy. That's not called liberty, and that's certainly not called the pursuit of happiness. It's called greed. And we have legalized greed. We've legalized it. In fact, our laws say that a company has a fiduciary responsibility to its shareholders to maximize profits. And if they don't do that, charges can be brought against them by the SEC. If they don't do everything possible to make as much money as possible. So let's say you're a health insurance company. And you are legally required to make as much money for the shareholders as possible. How do you actually make that money?
Deny care.
You make it by denying care, by denying benefits, by kicking people off the rolls, by not letting people on the rolls because of pre-existing conditions. You game the system against the very people you're supposed to because you're not going to make as much money if you start paying doctors and hospitals. So that's why this march that we're about to go on, down to this theater to see this movie, we are marching in support of single-payer health care. Eventually we have to get there. I realize President Obama has his plan. In fact, as I said in Rolling Stone last week, I think he's a great basketball player, and I have a feeling he's faking right to go left. Because let's hope that I'm right. Because what they're afraid of is if the so-called public option, a real public option that provides real health care at a really affordable price, the private companies can't compete with that. And they know. And those private insurance companies, the healthcare industry, they're spending over $1 million a day to fight this. $1 million a day? Well, every day, 14,000 Americans lose their health insurance. 14,000 lost it yesterday, 14,000 lost it today, 14,000 will lose it tomorrow. What kind of country are we? Who are we? We're the greatest country on earth. What are we doing to ourselves? Why do we allow this? We, as members of this movement, have to stake out the position that we believe is the correct position. The politicians, the people have got to lay the compromise to them, and whatever has to be worked out. We're not the compromisers. We're in battle here, and we are in the front lines. We are meeting it in favor of the American people who need this, and they need it now. And that's why we shouldn't back off an inch from this. Not one single inch. And I got to tell you, I feel bad for President Obama that he's had to watch these crazy town hall meetings where the people have shown up berating him and swastikas and Hitler mustaches on. They put on pictures. I mean, crazy people. That's who wants to keep the healthcare system the way it is right now. Absolute insanity. But what bothers me more, Roseanne, is that where are we?
We're here.
I don't see us on the nightly news. I don't see us packing the meetings. I don't see us in the streets. And so what I do see, I see Barack Obama out there on his own.
Right.
Who's got his back? Remember, he's there to serve us, the people. That's his job. When someone asked Franklin Roosevelt, when are you going to get us that Social Security you promised us? Because he didn't do it right away. When are you going to get that for us? This woman said to him. And he says, well, I'm not. You're going to have to make me do it. Because there's no way I'm going to get this through. I